Okay, next question. Okay, this is called the tag command that I want to explain. Okay. So why do we need a tag command? Sometimes we want to conduct household level analysis, but using a person level file. So what must we do? Okay, so this is an example. This is a person level file. You can see I've got 3 households, but 3 members. So this is clearly a person level file. Okay, but then I want to conduct some household level analysis. Okay, but analyzing a person level file, and we don't want to commit double counting because we don't want to include all 3 observations from the first household. In other words, for each household, I only want to count the first entry. Okay, this is why we want to create a tag variable. It is equal to 1 for the first person from a particular household. Okay, then you can see it is 1, but 0 and 0. And then for the second household, the tag variable equals 1 for the first person from the second household, then 0 and 0. Similarly, for the third household, the tag variable equals 1 for the first member, and then 0 for the other 2 members. And then once we created the tag variable, then we can conduct some household analysis. We can type certain commands, but we have to specify if tag equals 1. So the restriction if tag equals 1 actually means please only count 1 person per household. Okay, so that we don't commit double counting. Okay. But you are not going to manually type 100 for every single household. It is going to take you ages. Remember, there are 7,296 households. So let me show you how to run the command.Egen, hey, not gen,egen tag equals the tag of household ID. Okay. The command is a bit weird, I know that. And then maybe I put the tag variable before household ID. Okay. So we open the actual data. Now this is exactly my explanation. For the first household, there's only 1 member, 1 person household. So tag equals 1 for the first or the only member. Second household, unique household ID 101013, only the first person is allocated, tag equals 1. The rest, 0. Next one. Again, 1, the rest, 0. So in other words, expect 7,296 people are given the tag value of 1. The rest, 0. So let's tap the tag variable. Indeed, 7,296. Okay. So we're done with question 10. And now question 11, find out the weighted number of individuals in each household decile, the household decile that we created earlier. So tab, we include everyone. Okay? So I don't need to impose the tag restriction. I include everyone according to question 11. So tab decile 0. Okay. Oopsie, it must be small letter. Okay. I think I mentioned yesterday when we analyzed the IES data that households from the poorest or the poorer deciles include more household members, or alternatively a larger household size. This is why you expect more people or more individuals in the poorer household deciles. Okay. The richer households typically have smaller household size actually. Okay, so this is question 11, very straightforward. Question 12, this time we rather want to divide the population into deciles using real per capita income. So keep in mind, previously decile 0, we divide households into deciles. But this time I want to divide the population into deciles. So this is the next decile variable using the money metric variable real per capita income. And then let me call it decile 1. So again, the xtile command, xtile decile 1 using real per capita income W1 underscore real R per C. I still remember how to spell the variable which was created by me earlier. Remember to include weight, comma, NQ10, dividing the population into 10 groups, 10% in each group. Okay, give a nice label. Population decile using real per capita income. Okay, then we can really tap decile 1. So more or less 10%. Okay, I hope you're happy with that. Okay, question 13 is simply a descriptive statistic table. I want to know the gender and racial composition in each decile. So the gender and race variable are derived at the individual derived file. Let me show you. It is after the proxy file. It is here, gender and race. Okay, so tab decile 1. I shouldn't type the variable. Let me just double click. I have valid reasons to be lazy. Comma, NOF, ROW. Okay. So in the poorer deciles, the female share is more dominant, and in the richer deciles, the male share is slightly more dominant, more or less a 50-50 equal split, actually. And there are some people, maybe very few, minor, small number, they didn't, cell tree is unable to derive the gender. Okay. Okay, then we do the next one. Tab decile 1, pop ethnicity. Okay, I think I made a typo error. I shouldn't use capital letter. Okay. Okay. So in the poorer deciles, the African share is more dominant, but then when we move on to the richest decile, okay, the white share is most dominant. But I think it is actually very encouraging that the African share is close to 30% in decile 10. Actually, in decile 9, the African share is most dominant, more than 50%. So this is a very good sign, actually. So let me stop for 30 seconds. I want you to interpret these two tables more carefully. Okay. Next one, I want to know the proportion of households having the best type of dwelling, pipe water, flush water, etc. So 12 non-income welfare variables. So before I find out the proportion, okay, actually proportion of population, I probably made a typo error, okay, but it doesn't matter, okay. I think we can actually open the do file. I want to explain where you can find the variables, actually coming from the household questionnaire, and I actually put the question number. It belongs to, or it comes from section D onwards, actually. Yeah, of the household questionnaire. I think the dwelling type is the first question, for example, this one, okay. So how can we know? Let's first make a decision. Okay, we need the category number. So I think we need to run this command we learned before. Num label, comma, add. It will take a bit of time. Let's save the file now, just as a precautionary measure. Okay, so let's type the dwelling variable. So according to this question, okay, let's one at a time. This one. Formal dwelling stands for D structure, house or brick structure, flat or apartment, semi-detached house, unique in retirement village. Okay, so if we look at the categories, I think if the dwelling type answer is either 1 or 3 or 4 or 5, then it is formal dwelling. Okay, so let's generate a dummy. So generate v1 equals, let me specify the requirement if dwelling type equals 1, or I hope you still remember how to type the or command using the shift key and look for that key with the vertical line, or dwelling type equals 3, or dwelling type equals 4, or dwelling type equals 5, then this dummy equals 1. So it stands for the people who live in the formal housing or formal dwelling. Okay. Maybe let's tap this out of curiosity. Maybe just out of curiosity. I would just want to know the proportion actually. So actually 2/3 of the population, weighted terms, stay in formal dwelling. Okay, 67.18%. Okay, happy with this? We have to do it for 12 variables. The next one, with pipe water in dwelling or on site or in yard, but let's look for the water variable, question D18. So it is this one. Let's first tab. Okay. So I think it will be the first two, pipe water in dwelling on site or in yard. So let's generate the next dummy. V2 equals, if this water variable is ranged between 1 and 2, or you can say it is equal to 1 or equal to 2, it will give you the same result. Okay, happy with that? Next one, with flush toilet or chemical toilet, which stands for the best type of sanitation facility. I don't need the CPI. Actually, later I need that, okay. Okay, so let's look for the question. D20, sanitation. Let's tap D20, this one. So if the answer is between 1 and 3, then the dummy, which we are going to call it V3, is equal to 1. So if the toilet variable is ranged between 1 and 3, for this question I will do it slowly. We have to generate 12 dummies actually. Okay, next one. Using electricity for cooking, we have to look for the whereabouts of the electricity for cooking variable. It is question D23. D23 point, I don't know which one. This one here for cooking, okay. Yeah. Okay, let's tap that. So in other words, if the answer is between 1 and 2 electricity, then my next dummy, which is V4, is equal to 1. Between 1 and 3. Okay. Next one. Next two actually, landline telephone and cellular phone. Let's look for the question number D24 and D25 respectively, landline telephone and mobile phone. So let's generate V5. Oh, we need to tab actually. Landline in working condition, I suppose, but it doesn't really matter according to. Let's go back to my question. Okay, it only says whether you have landline telephone or not. Okay, so I'm a bit lenient. I don't care whether it is in working condition or not, but I should have been stricter. But let's just stick with the question. V5 with my landline telephone variable gives me an answer of either 1 or 2. I am being too lenient. Why would I use a landline telephone that is not in working condition? And then the cellular phone. So the answer must be 1 before my V6 dummy is equal to 1. Okay, happy with that? Halfway through. We still haven't derived the proportion of population